I'll get their attention. You two get those guys out.
No time to be a hero.
I'm not a hero. Just a man.
Hello there, this is Finn Fournier, Benevolence at a Quorum. The clip that I put at the beginning, if I don't have to remove it, is from Dead Space Downfall. That's not Isaac Clarke, but it's a character similar to him, and it's the same premise of the Everyman kind of thing, the Everyman. It's the opposite of the Superman, or the ubermensch, as was a former name of that thing. But it's like all the superheroes are always going to be overpowered, impossibly strong, impossibly everything else, just to be, some kind of power fantasy type crap. That's cool and whatever, but it's like, it's cooler to have it when you have ordinary people, or at least nearly so, doing things that are extraordinary, like Frodo, or others that are not magical or whatever elsewise. You have other ones that are like, say, Batman and whatever. Let's see here. But, you have Batman, who's sort of like an everyman. He's not having magical powers of his own. And you have Shredder, who's not really magical. He's just, well, he's a ninja, but he's his own type of thing. Ninja in a super duper samurai outfit. But Batman's main power is wealth and having resources otherwise, as well as just researching things. So, minus the wealth, he would be like an everyman, and Shredder is sort of like an everyman, just really ambitious in a bad way. But either way though, this is the thing though, it's like this meme here of forget all your heroes, and I adjusted the word there because it's like unnecessary bad words, and I know the game itself has bad words and all that other stuff, and ordinary rocket engineer, I know that's not an ordinary title right now, but I mean, if humanity ever spreads throughout, you're going to have people treated as if they're nothing for just being maintenance on a spaceship kind of thing eventually, which will be sad in its own right. But that's just how everyone seems to behave though, treating those that keep everything in order badly, while they just whatever though. Either way, being able to do stuff like that without being some type of ubermensch, Superman, whatever, it's all a better thing than having all those fake powers that are impossible anyway. And that's sort of what I've strived to do in my writings with, well, I sort of have one character living indefinitely, but it would have been through a genetic modification of the telomerase activation, and otherwise just, being a guinea pig, that the research that would have gone only to support the rich would have been tried on him as well. But with the premise of that being that, they tried too quick to mess things up now, but they give themselves more time for the next generation of their stuff so they could more slowly boil the frog kind of deal, rather than boil it for the frog for the most of a few decades right before their end, and then go to boiling lobsters and being too obvious, as they are doing right now to anyone that has eyes. Either way, but this is the thing though, having an everyman superhero, that's a better thing than having just so many impossible idiots that run amok with laser eyes and all that other X-Men type stuff. I mean, there's certainly cool animations and CGI and all that stuff, and I do like some of the visual arts that are soon going to just be by AI that were previously more closer to being handcrafted, but now it's all just going to be puppetry, and producers are just going to use AI for everything. What a lovely thing, right? No soul behind anything except what meager inputs they prompt. Woo. But either way, I like Dead Space for this, that they have real humans and not so many Supermen doing things. And, there should be more stories like that, where you have just ordinary people doing extraordinary things rather than extraordinary people doing random things that are also extraordinary, just impossible because they're impossible too. But yeah, you set the bar too high and then everyone is like, oh crap, I'm never gonna get there. But that's the joy of life, isn't it? Because when there's only like a handful of real jobs, everyone else has starter jobs kind of thing too. Whoop-de-doo, right? Anyway. But, more stories should be Everyman stories. And it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be like they're all default idiots and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't have to be a blank slate character. It can still be, someone that has high intelligence, someone that's strong, but strong as a human and not strong as a rhino or whatever else, They don't have to be complete morons. They don't have to be, just because you're trapped in a bad situation doesn't mean that you're inept or whatever. It just means you've been dealt a bad hand, basically. Not, well, more or less. It's still just the joy of putting up with bad circumstances the best you can with what you have, regardless of however gifted you might be or whatever else, because, the race isn't always to the strong, battle to the strong, race to the swift, all that sort of stuff. That's in Ecclesiastes. Just because you might have, my dad had an IQ of 188, and he repaired helicopters for the Army before they found out he was colorblind. And then they tried to put him in a combat medic role, and he managed to pretend to be insane so he could get out of that. Because that was right at the end of the Vietnam War. It's like, no, thank you. But, either way, it's like, you can be smart. You can have all the things that others think go with wealth and still not be wealthy. And you can have a mediocre intelligence and just be related or know the right people and be put in places of power where you don't belong. So, it just is all a matter of how things go and who you know, not what you know kind of thing, too. So, you can have a genius operating as a cash register and being told how they're non-human by all the Karens telling them that they are going to report them for not being able to give them employee discounts and all that sort of stuff. But, there should be more Everyman stories and fewer Superman, ubermenschen type crap everywhere. And, Marvel, even before it went all the insanity that it has, it still was kind of boring if you think about it. There's a few cool stories, a few nice quotes here and there, but for the most part, it's just cartoonishly absurd. So, I like the Dead Space type theme better. I like stories where there's real humans fighting things rather than, so many Supermen type thing. But, anyhow, gonna call that done for now. Take care, everyone, and try not to go crazy.